Hello, hello, good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art and Scrap. Pardon me, it's almost Monday. Let's create. We are going to be creating today um, using the Joy in the Journey collection. And that is a new collection that just came out recently. There are only a couple more days um, to purchase on my website from Close to My Heart. The makers are all retiring on the 30th of April, and today is the 28th. And I'm actually setting this YouTube video as a premiere. That way it will play at 7 o'clock because this weekend is tagging weekend with the 758 Argus Air Cadet Squadron. And so my two cadet involved children are busy with that, and I have to do pickups and help count money at about the time I should be doing my live video. And so in order to not miss our very last Close to My Heart based Scrap It's Almost Monday, Let's Create, I'm doing it ahead of time. And so if you're joining me live when it premieres, say hello or howdy so I know you're here. If you watch it later on replay, you can say replay. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to add them in and I will read through them all. I love to see your comments. All right. So we are going to be creating a 2-page layout for our final layout as Close to My Hearts. And so I'm going to start out my first page here, my left side page, with some white daisy cardstock. So I'm just going to stick it down to my Versamat, a little bit of adhesive. And then my second page, my right-hand page, I'm actually going to be using pattern paper from the Joy in the Journey collection. And of course, it's the beautiful Journey blue. I'm even wearing blue today, not quite the same blue, but you know me. If somebody asks a question about color, the answer is always blue. Now, I'm not sticking this down just yet because we have a little bit of an extra step to go here. So on this left side, I wanted to bring in a panel of this gorgeous pattern paper from Joy in the Journey. It's great big chevrons, and it's a gradient from dark to light. And so I just cut it straight down the middle. The back side is this beautiful sky cloud number. But I cut it straight down the middle, right at the point of the chevrons. I've got my adhesive already on the back here to save us a few minutes. And we're going to attach this to our base page way over here on the far left side, lining it up with the edge of our white daisy and sticking it down like that. Now I wanted to add a big square panel on the front of this. Now instead of cutting a 10-inch by 10-inch piece, what I have decided to do is I took some of the fabulous UV coated coordinating cardstock that comes with this collection. I don't even know if this cardstock is still available. I know a few days ago you could get the paper pack and sticker sheet. Not 100% sure about the cardstock. But instead of just cutting a 10 by 10 from the corner, I decided to gut out the middle to give myself a 10 by 10 and then a border. And I'm going to use the border on this side, and I'm going to use the 10 by 10 on this side, which is a fun way to spread a single piece of paper across 2 pages. So gutting out just requires to use your paper trimmer, and you're going to set it so that you come in a certain amount from each edge. So I did 1 inch, and that gets you this 10 by 10 that I'm going to hopefully center on my paper, and also the border for the second sheet. Now, the reason I didn't stick down my pattern paper is if I line this up exactly how it's cut, you're going to see this weird little half bit. And what I want to do is I actually want to shift this border down just like that so that we have an even amount of blocks at the top and bottom from this beautiful pattern paper, and then a half block on either side. So we're going to have a little, I don't even know, like 3/16 of an inch of the pattern paper sticking up at the top. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put my adhesive on the back of my cardstock. Now, when I get to sticking this down, I need to remind myself to have the UV coated pattern going the same direction. I have these little chevron-y or herringbones going vertical. There we go. So what I want to do is to try and line this up so that we get ourselves even. So this is going to be tricky and wobbly, and I've already stuck it in the wrong spot. Oh gosh. We knew that would happen, right? Let me just carefully. I could have tried to be a little bit more careful when I was peeling the backing off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to line myself up at the bottom and hope for the best when I get to the top. So get it on there and then just let it fall, and hopefully it lands good. And it did pretty good. There's a tiny little skiff there, but I'm okay with that. And now what we need to do is we need to come to this top edge, take our little scissors and just trim off the excess. And I think that makes my OCD, or whatever you want to call it, my want it to line up gene, happy, because it lines up and it looks a little more symmetrical. So there we go. Just took a little bit of trimming. Now we want to start adding in our photos. So on this side, which I can stick down now if I want, on this side, I'm going to be adding 4 photos, and we've already got a lovely grid happening here. We've got a nice square, and then we've got all these little squares. So I have cut my photos to be square, 4-inch squares, and I have cut out Journey, just plain Journey cardstock for my photo mats. And there we go, sticking it down before it's lined up. We're going to line it up here and center our photo on there. So we did 4 1/8 inch because I only wanted just a little bit of the mat showing, because I don't want to cover up all of that beautiful pattern paper we've got going on there. We're already going to cover up a lot of it because we have a lot of photos going on, and they're a good size. There we go. And these photos were taken during one of the scrapbooking retreats, paper crafting retreats at my mom's. And in the town of Campbellford, where she lives, there's a suspension bridge over the Ranny Gorge. And it's a really fun spot to stop and take photos. And I was traveling there with Ina, and one of our crafty friends, Ina, and she had not been that far east before in Ontario, and she had definitely not been to Campbellford. So we made quite a few stops along the way. If you're familiar with driving east on the 401 from the GTA, we go past the Big Apple. So we stopped at the Big Apple, and then we stopped at the suspension bridge. We stopped at the, along the canal in town, there's a park, and there's a giant toonie there. We took photos with the toonie. So these pictures are from the Ranny Gorge. So you can see looking upstream, downstream, looking upstream. And then there's a picture of me. So you can see here the fence on the suspension bridge. Then we've got our shoes. I always take pictures when the kids are with me of our feet looking through the bridge down to the water below. So there's Ina, there's me. And so we're going to sort of work at centering those photos And I think we'll kind of keep them towards the middle so that, you know, we can still see that lovely pattern paper. And there we go. So I've already got some adhesive on the back of these. Look at me pre-planning and all. Slowly getting better after my run-in with illness that I've been fighting with since the 25th of March. I'm still coughing a little bit, still stuffed up a little bit, but definitely way better than I was. And I am very thankful for that. Had enough of coughing and whatnot, and my rib cage that I sprained, I got an intercostal sprain on my right side, my entire right rib cage. It's getting a little bit better, which has been coming in handy this weekend. Counting money with the cadets. You gotta shuffle a lot of coins around. So they're tagging this weekend around our designated area of Brampton. And if you don't know what tagging is, it's where the Air Cadets, Sea Cadets, Army Cadets stand in front of like the grocery store, Canadian Tire, you know, any kind of stores, and they have their little cans, and they, you know, they've got their nicely ironed dress uniforms on, and they've got their polished boots on, and they're interacting with the community and collecting donations, and they call it tagging because they give you a little tag that says, I support the Air Cadets, type of thing. So then I've got another picture of a view down the gorge, and then a picture of Ina and I right in front of the lilacs. It was May, it was gorgeous, and the lilacs were in full bloom, and that's on the one side, just before you go across the bridge. There's beautiful lilacs there. These are 3x4 photos, and I cut 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 white daisy photo mats for them to go on. So I'm just going to center those on the photo mats. And then we are going to stick those to our layout. I'm going to get the adhesive off of both of these and then stick them down all in one shebang. I'm going to do a little bit of asymmetry here. So we've got one a little higher, one a little lower, kind of in the center, a little bit of overlap, just so, because this side is all very square and straight. So this one we're adding a little bit of movement to it, which is fun. I also want to bring in a title, and you can see that I have actually not delved too deeply into this fabulous sticker sheet. But what I've used this one. I think that may be the only sticker I've used so far. So I've got lots to choose from. I'm going to use this one that says, Life is Good. And just set that there again. I've also got a piece of white daisy cardstock that I have cut just a little bit bigger because I wanted to make this have a little more oomph, especially because we're going to be putting it on this side, this background, and it would just kind of blend in with that. I'm just going to snip that off. With that UV coated journey. That journey on top of journey, it would just kind of disappear. So we're going to dovetail the ends to match the sticker. So trimming in the center and then coming from the corner to the top of that snip. And then from this corner, we'll do the same thing on the other end. There we go. One more. Lovely. Life is good. And then I also wanted to add a little bit more width to this. So I've got one of the zip strips, and this is where I have to kind of play with it because I can't, you know, I couldn't stick all this on ahead of time and check it out. So I don't want to go too high because I don't want to block the photos. So I think I will just keep it below just about there. But I also want to see whether I want to leave just that one zip strip or whether I want to bring in some of these extra patterny things from on here. Decisions. You know, I think I'm going to leave it just with the single one, but I want to dovetail the ends so it matches. So we'll give a little snip in the center, do the exact same steps that we did cutting out the matting for our sticker title. Just a little snip, and then coming in from each side like that. Now we've got all these little bits to gather up. Okay, so let's see. We want it right about there. It'd be good if it was straight. We could even, you know, bring in a straight line. So we're going to put it at about 3 1/4. 3 1/4 for that zip strip. Look at that. So fancy using a straight edge. It's amazing the things that impress me. All right, we'll just kind of center that like so. And then bring in, and you'll notice I'm not using any foam tape. We're doing some flat scrapping today. There we go. I hope the video is going well. I can't see what I'm doing because it's not live. And so I hope I'm in the camera and that it hasn't stopped because if it has, this is a one-shot deal for this layout. All right, so that's looking good. Then from the sticker sheet, I want to bring in some of these lovely details. I'm gonna stick this big dovetailed banner up there. Then let me see. We're gonna add. What are we gonna add? We're going to add a bunch of little dovetailed banners. I'm trying to decide if I want to go 2 swoops or 1 big swoop. I think 2 swoops. I think that would be kind of fun. So we have to find our center, which is kind of easy because we've got this 6-inch wide piece of pattern paper. But let's just give ourselves something to work off of. Let's grab these little hearts to start. And actually, let's alternate between triangles. And that will actually help us have things join in the middle. Now, we don't need that anymore. We put that over there. Let's also alternate. Let's do these hearts. Why not? They'll kind of disappear a little bit. Actually, they disappear a lot. Let's change that. Those ones that are the same color are going to be difficult to use. So let's use ones that have lighter backgrounds. We can do that. We have the technology. All right, how about a polka dot? There we go. We also have ones that are sort of a different kind of angle as well. So we could mix those in if we want, but I think we'll stick with these ones. Let's grab this one. I think these are super fun. There we go. And then, well, actually, let's grab one. Let's mix it up. Let's add some little hearts. And then one more. Maybe this plaid. That will be fun. That worked out perfectly. I like that little swoop. Okay, so now we're going to come to the other side. We're going to add in a little stripey number here, like so. And then how about some polka dots? Like that. And And a little floral number. We're just kind of trying to mirror what happened on the other side. And then, let's see, we've got it stripey. Like that. And then we used one of these guys. I'm loving this. This looks so cute. And then one more. Let's use the other plaid. Why don't we? We have a plaid on each side. We got a diagonal plaid and a shiny plaid. This one's got lots of UV coating on it. How cute is that? Alrighty. So let's add a few more things up at the top. Let me see. We've got a little stripe going on, a little stripe action. We'll stick that on there. And how about the little hearts? Will that be long enough? Let's add a plaid. Plaid. And then the hearts. I'm just kind of layering them up. And then we can take our scissors and flip it to the back side. You always want to cut from the back side when you're doing this so that you know you've got everything trimmed. You can hear the birds outside my window chirping. You can tell it's getting later in the afternoon. It's about almost 4 o'clock here, actually. So it's getting a lot later in the afternoon. Okay, now we also have some pretty words along here. We've got happiness, hello, awesome, cutie pie, so sweet, and we've got love you, happy day, you shine, joy. So I'm thinking over here, I want to maybe add a little spot where I could put the date, maybe along, tucked under the edge of this photo. And we could even add a little something. Making funny noises because I'm thinking. All the thinking. I'm thinking this awesome would be kind of fun over here. Because I always think it's so cool when you're up on a bridge like that and you can see to the water below. Then there's also some pretty hearts on here too. I'm thinking maybe some of the hearts would be fun on here. We could add, I don't know what I want to do because there's that gap, but I don't want to make the gap awkward. So we could add a little heart action right there. And then we've got, looking for lighter colored hearts. We've got this stripy heart. We could add over here, maybe down a little bit. And where else? Some of them are upside down, and it always takes me a minute to find them. Does anybody else have that problem? When it's upside down, you're like, whoa, where to go? We've got a little stripy one here. We can add that on this side, like that. So cute. Alrighty. Bum, bum, bum. I'm thinking this happiness one we could tuck right in behind there, like that. I think it would be fine. And thinking this side might need a little something, but then It's hard. It's hard. See, if you guys were watching me as I was doing this, I would be going, okay, so what do you think? But you're not there. There is a drawback sometimes to doing things not live. Okay. You know what? We could use this Oh Happy Day. That would be kind of fun. So let's take a wander. We're wandering. That looks like a great spot right there. Oh, happy day. Just tucking it on there. Okay, I think that is excellent. I love how this is looking. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to add any bling because we've got shine from that UV coated cardstock. So once again, we started with our plain white daisy. We added in that beautiful chevron pattern paper to cover half of the page. Then we added in that gutted out 10 by 10 piece of the UV coated cardstock from Joy in the Journey and used the frame on this side on top of the beautiful pattern paper that really reminds me of a quilt, doesn't it? And then, of course, creating a lovely grid on this side, juxtaposing that with a little bit of asymmetry, and then our title down at the bottom, carrying over to words over here. We can add a little bit of the date here. And I did leave some space here, along the edges where I could add some journaling as well. I hope you enjoy seeing those two pages come together. And if you create a layout like this, be sure to take a photo of it and stick it in the comments on the page where I post the photos of this layout. All right, until then, have a lovely evening. And once again, retirement on April the 30th. And then starting anew, May the 1st at 2:01 a.m. in the morning, I will officially be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So, interesting times ahead. Have a wonderful evening and a week ahead. We'll see you again soon. Toodaloo. Bye.